All right, PKN episode 169. We were talking about stuff. So Kyle, you said you went to one of the buildings that you own and
Yeah.
killed wasps.
Yes, it was a wasp massacre. It was a cold day, so they were all sleepy and like not active, so you could really get close to them up on a ladder. And I've got wasp spray that comes out in a jet, and just I sprayed the nest, and it just rained wasps onto the floor. It was very fun, very fun.
Did any survive?
Oh no!
So,
Oh, no.
all right, the story starts with my friend's part. I guess it's not Tim. He showed him my videos. He's got a big, buff, puffy beard. Like one of the first times I met him, he told me this. So, in his house, he had a bat, and it was in his attic. So he calls like a pest removal place, which turns out to be a mistake.
Yep.
And I wouldn't have known. I know.
Oh, this is
now.
an endangered bat. There's
That's
some
what happens.
bullshit.
Dude, that is exactly what happened. So he calls him up and he says, "Look, we've got a couple bats. We need you to remove the bats." And they said, "All right, this is how we do this. By the way, like you're on a list or something, so don't kill the bat, on your own, because now Big Brother knows about you."
That's the
And-
list the government needs to take seriously.
Yes,
The-
yes,
The bat list.
so let me, dude. This is a whopper story to me. Anyway, what they do is they seal off his attic, and now everything in that attic, which is where you store your stuff, is like ruined. Because rabies in bats apparently is very common. Most of the time you worry about rabies in animals, it's not really a justified worry. They don't have it, but in bats they might. This is what they tell me, and so what they do is they seal off the attic and they have to wait for the bat to opt to leave. Right? It's not his attic anymore. It is now the bat's attic, and he's going to live there for as long as he fucking chooses to. So the bat decides to live there for a few more months, at which point, like, everything in the attic is destroyed. It's destroyed because it's, like, peed on by a rabid bat or torn up or used as nest, or I don't know what it is, but just kiss everything goodbye in your attic. And then he has to pay to get the bats removed after they're done nesting and like seal it up. And this costs a lot, like $8,000 or something, to redo his attic so it doesn't be. Oh, we're just
How
starting.
rare is this fucking bat?
I don't know. It's a very, very precious bat. But the thing is, now his whole family has potentially been exposed to rabies. And they have to get these rabies treatments, right? The thing is, it costs like $4,000 to get yourself treated for rabies.
A lot of foamy family meals.
Since it's
for a couple
voluntary, it's not covered by health insurance. And do you remember how much it costs per person? Quick quiz.
$4,000.
Right. Well, he has 4 children, so there's 6 of them.
Oh,
yeah.
baby.
So now we're at like
We're at
24.
32 grand.
Yeah.
And you can't roll the dice on rabies. You can die.
Yeah. Yeah. And
We're
some
at
of these
32
kids are.
grand so far.
And that's where it ends. So 32 grand is what, plus the value of whatever's in the attic. I don't know. That might be 10
those bats
more.
go down. Those bats go down.
Well, the thing is, my wife's at BJ shopping the other day, and there's an attic like restoration service, and she's like, "What should we call?" Like, because we have 3 attics and some crawl spaces and stuff, and one of them in particular, I just know the insulation is not what it should be. So I'm like, you know what? Get a quote. What's the harm? And he looks around, and it turns out we don't think they do it right. But they find a bat in our attic. And I'm like, the fuck? Like, oh my God. Like, is this a thing? Are we going to have to seal this off? Do I lose all this stuff in the attic? And the attic, like, he's trying to land a sale. And he's like, I didn't see shit. Right? And I'm like,
I'm just the attic man.
yeah. He's not like the pest removal guy who's not on your side. This guy's on your side. He's trying to land a sale. And he's like, I didn't see a fucking thing. Like, there's, he's like, yeah, if it was my attic, well, I've heard, that they really dislike wasp and hornet spray.
If you release one snowy owl up into your attic, you will very quickly have an owl problem instead.
So Jackie and I wait and we start planning. I'm like, honey, you have any wasp and hornet spray? And she goes, as a matter of fact, I do. And at this point, it's like 1 p.m. And she's like, don't you think we should spray it at like dusk? and see, if like that way, if he really hates it and leaves, maybe he'll just go somewhere else. So I go to spray him. We wait. It's like 5:20. Sunsets at 5:11. It's getting dark. It's about time for him to go do bat things. I don't know, fight crime or something.
And you were just gonna mist the entire area,
Well,
just kind of trying to make it
going
uninhabitable.
to spray him and his favorite spot.
This
Right?
kills him.
Oh, so you were gonna actually spray the bat itself, so you knew. Okay.
Yeah, hypothetically, I sprayed the fuck out of that bat. Like, but it turns out he wasn't in our attic. It looked like he was in our. We have a. I don't know how to describe it. It's louvered, and then behind the louvers is like a screen, like would be on a screen door, and it's you can't like walk up to him. There's like a eave or something, so he's kind of far away. But once you sprayed him, it became really clear that he was on the other side of the screen. He was on. He was inside the louvers, but outside the building because the screen was there. And Jackie wisely was like, "Yeah, but spray the heck out of it. Like he'll destroy that screen if he wants to get in." So, yeah, that bat. It was yesterday. I bet he still stinks of Hornet spray.
Oh, I bet he does more than stink. Yeah. How big was the bat?
It
Like
was like 2 inches or something. Yeah,
a
it
very
wasn't
little bat.
Yeah,
That can't be that rare.
We thought it might have been a big insect at first, but I almost want to go look. He's right.
That's
in,
even more scary. If you've got an insect that's the size of a bat, I'm
Yeah.
much more afraid of that than a bat.
I want to go see if he came back. Oh, it's kind of dark now, but I'll go
He's
look. And
dead, Woody. Like that's poison you
Yeah,
sprayed
he's
him
dead.
with.
I'm gonna confirm. Hold on.
Okay.
That's a dead bat.
That's a dead bat.
This shouldn't be more than like 2 minutes. You guys do the show.
Yeah.
It's
I
right
got
through
you.
that troll door over there, and I'll see if there's a bat.
All right.
So Taylor and I ordered
That is a
these.
dead
That's a completely dead bat. Well, it's weird the things that Woody doesn't know much about, and it's like that's not a can of like, oh, that doesn't just make bugs smell bad, and then they decide to leave your home. That's not how poisons work.
Yeah.
Like it's like a.
That's not phase one of requesting the wasps to leave.
Nah, that's
like-
just flammable for. It's like petroleum based with like poisons in it, and like you spray a wasp, and he's like instantly fucking
Yeah, it's
dead.
like poison napalm to them.
Yeah, they're fucking wasted. So you spray. He probably died a really painful, horrible death. His eyes all burning and blind, and he flew off somewhere and then
But it's a
suffocated.
bat, so I don't care.
Oh yeah, I don't care either.
And
So
I
we
agree.
ordered-
I'd rather have a bat than a bug the size of a bat. 'Cause
Yeah.
that means there would be thousands of other bugs up there. There's
At
not just
least
one
a nest
hanging out.
of them. Yeah, like
Yeah,
it'd
with
be
a
like
bat,
that
they're gonna at
movie
least be one.
Skeeters. Yeah.
So not only is the bat gone, but I can't get within like 16 feet of like where he was. But the whole attic has a slight aroma of wasp and hornet spray. just barely. Like there's a lingering thing there. So I think I solved the problem and saved $32,000 or whatever it
Yeah,
be.
If there are
There's
any
another couple
more-
of years of Hope's College for not
but-
fucking around with a
That's a
bat.
tuition. That's like it's funny when you put it in there. Yeah, that's
if you suspect that there could be some more, and as tiny as they are and as large as the attic is, they could be lurking.
Mm-hmm.
They make those foggers. It's like it's like a little can of bug spray, but it's more like a grenade.
Uh-huh.
You press the button and you leave, and it sprays poison gas throughout the entire area, like literal poison gas. They're very fun to use.
we
You feel
did
like a
that.
Nazi.
dude. So
You feel-
when
That's
I
the
was
fun
in
part, right?
college, right, early
I
in
put my
college,
get up on.
I was like a freshman or sophomore in college, and we had a dog that was very old, right, on her last legs.
You didn't gas the dog.
No,
Okay.
but it turns out
have
that
been in his attic.
sometimes when a dog, like, she was really fat, she couldn't scratch herself, and she was being attacked by fleas in a way that I have never seen before or since.
Yeah,
The fleas were
skin-
all over. And you just look at her, and you'd see fleas everywhere, and it was kind of sad. And we put a collar on her, but it wasn't enough. The dog was just
Yeah.
too vulnerable. And in our house, we had fleas that like if you put your head down by the
see 'em
carpet,
jumping.
you'd see them jumping.
Yeah.
And somehow,
Oh.
for teenage Woody, this became normalized. It was like, yeah. our carpets have fleas, you know?
Yeah, the carpet moves a little.
Yeah,
Big
carpet
deal.
moves a little. Yeah, that's why I keep my door shut because my
We
like.
call it the itchy carpet. Yeah.
So I lived on the 3rd floor of our house, which set or the 4th floor, depending on how you count it. But like, I had a bedroom and like my own sort of living room. It sounds nicer than it was, but I liked it. And I had my own stairwell, and I just kept the door shut all the time. So my room wasn't infected. So I didn't prioritize it as like full on disgusting until Jackie came over. Now, to her, a carpet full of fleas jumping a foot high all over. And I don't know, like when I say fleas, you have to imagine like 1,000 fleas, right?
Yeah.
It's not like
It's like Rice Krispie treats popping off everywhere.
Kyle has seen this. Yeah.
I've had this. Yes.
So Jackie comes over and she was just not, it's just like, what the fuck, you know? So we did that. We bombed it and it solved the problem. It even made the dog's life more comfortable because you put a dog collar on a house of fleas and it doesn't fix anything. And,
You just see like a wave of them getting out of the way. So the dog is walking through.
and my,
guys, out of the way.
even my parents were thankful. They're like, this is really improved. Yeah, good job killing all the fleas. And
The dog's
like,
name is Moses because he can split the flea sea. Come on over here. Oh, that'd be a disgusting trick to show guests.
no, we just hand out flea collars to the guests as they came
I'm
over.
going to show you the snake bathroom. Yeah.
One on each wrist.
So,
They're
but
harmless. Yes.
adult Woody is like, why weren't my parents more on top of this flea situation? If I had, I don't, like, 1/100th of that, I'd be dealing with the fleas.
It's because they're incredibly resistant to stilettos. You can try all day.
It's just the wrong weapon. If only my mom burnt us.
That on someone else.
So,
Man,
We had that briefly, like it just
when and where? Like as a child?
in
or?
our house in the carpet, like
As a-
3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
And it was just like, whoa, what's this? Like all of a sudden it seemed to happen. It wasn't like, oh yeah, there's a flea in the carpet, weird, and then you let it go, and then it like got worse. It seemed like overnight there was an issue, and as soon as I noticed it, it was already a problem to the point where like you put your shoes on when you walk through because they'll bite your fucking ankles. So I went and I just bought spray, like contact spray that's for fleas, like I don't know, Raid flea killer. And just sprayed all the carpets, and it just killed them instantly.
That's all it
and,
took, huh?
Yeah. But it's like you said, it's very disgusting. They bite you.
I should have been.
Fleas bite you.
They do, yeah. And by the way, like I would have flea bites all over me, like all on my ankles and wrists mostly, where
Ankles,
would be
yeah.
flea bitten. And every so often, like my chest and something, there'd be flea bites on me. And it's just like, yeah, what? Like, yeah, flea bites suck, don't they? Yeah, we all hate flea bites. How many do you have? I'm at like 40 right now.
I just started on the
Scurvy,
lice.
is it coming
Yeah.
along? What a weird issue.
Yeah, our flea bites, are they kind of like chiggers?
They're not as bad as chiggers. Chiggers like are long lasting, and like with a flea bite, I would always like take alcohol and rub it on there, and that seemed to immediately like alleviate the itching, and because the flea bites you and then it goes away, but the chiggers burrow into your skin.
Yeah. That's why you need a nail polish
That's right.
on those
Oh.
chiggers. That was the worst, to come in from the woods at my grandparents' house and be like, man, what a fun day of being 7. And then like get into the shower and be like, oh, it's gonna be a horrible next few days of being 7. You know, because your
time
legs
I got-
just look like they're infested.
Last time I got chiggers, I was up in Tennessee in this really tall grass in a field, and I was just kind of wading through it back and forth across where we were shooting, and I got chiggers on my ankles. And in case you don't know, Woody, they burrow into your skin and then protrude like a proboscis out of your skin or whatever to
like
breathe.
an antenna, kind of.
Yeah,
Okay.
like that's their like snorkel,
Oh,
so
that
they
sounds
can like
awful.
they live inside you, and but they still need air from the outside. And you take nail polish and you paint over right where the itchy spot is, and it dies. And I suppose you absorb them or
Yeah,
something,
a little
whatever.
bit of protein, I guess.
Yeah. And
I-
and the only
That
nail
counts towards
Kitty-
your caloric content.
Yeah. I hit my
intake.
macros. I got bit by a lot of chiggers.
And Kitty doesn't use nail polish. That's not a thing that she's into.
Okay.
But she did have purple nail polish from like a Halloween costume years gone by. And so my ankles had all these purple, like bright purple metallic spots on them where I had painted myself. And everybody was like, what's going on there? Like chiggers. I'm infested with chiggers. They live inside me, and this kills them.
Next time, Kyle, you don't have to do purple nail polish.
Clear.
Vaseline does the same thing. Yeah, like a little tiny layer of that will suffocate them too.
I didn't know how long it took for them to suffocate because, but like insects sort of absorb oxygen, I think, and through their skin, like they don't breathe like us. And I
don't know
was
how
under the
they
impression.
work.
I was under the impression that, it might take a day or 2 days or 3 days to like fully make them dead. And it did, in a couple days, you just kind of scratch it off and you're all gone.
When I was a
I want
kid,
to talk about.
I was along the same lines. Poison ivy. So I'm allergic to poison ivy. Some people aren't. I never knew anyone that wasn't allergic to poison ivy
I
until.
don't think I am.
I've been in the woods a lot, never gotten it.
Because I've never got it.
That is like a
chiggers.
full-on superpower for me. Because when I'm in the woods, I am always on the eye out for like leaves of three, let it be, any kind of hairy vine. Like I am super susceptible, so allergic that if I eat too many cashews, I get poison ivy because they're in the same family. I'm one of those guys. Not as much as an adult, but as a kid,
How many cashews would you have
it
to
would
eat?
take a lot. Like we used to get cashews in like a Mr. Peanuts thing,
Yeah.
and if I ate like half of that, I would get a breakout of some sort. And
That sucks. Those are like the best nuts.
yeah,
Cashews.
they're
Yeah.
not nuts, but I'm with you.
Okay.
Yeah, they're legumes. I don't know what the fuck they are, but they might even be nuts. And anyway, I would get poison ivy like from such minor contact. Like my clothes touched poison ivy last year, so now I'm getting it this year. Or like they theorized I was getting it in the wind. And like young Woody, I must have been like 10 or 11 at this point, just got fed the fuck up with being so allergic to poison ivy. And my response to it was like, you know what? I'm going to stop preventative measures. Fuck poison ivy. I don't care anymore. And there was like a little drawbridge or something near the horse farm. I used to like to walk over there, and I yanked poison ivy out with my bare hands. Yeah, poison ivy. To hell
Who do
with
you
you.
think you are?
Yeah.
Screaming.
The next day or two, I was so broken out. My forearm swelled up like I was Popeye. It didn't look human anymore. And they were just giant. They were all bruised black and blue because they weren't supposed to swell like that. It was terrible. And we went to the doctor and he gave me steroids and helped me get better. But and that's when we learned all about the details of poison ivy. But it was
That's when the
I got
poison ivy strategy was last attempted.
Yeah, I haven't tried it since. Yeah. Oh gosh, it was terrible. But now I'm a little better. I bring wet wipes into the woods with me, and if I touch poison ivy, you have like a couple hours to clean off, and then you won't be impacted.
You always hear about, and maybe it's just like a urban legend type thing, but the people who accidentally use poison ivy as toilet paper in the woods. You grab a leaf to wipe yourself off, and
That must be dreadful.
Can you fucking imagine your asshole? Like how much, legitimately, how much money would I have to pay you? I know I don't have enough to wipe your ass with a
Right.
handful of
Man.
poison
So
ivy.
everyone
and
always
you don't
comes
get to
up
take
with
any there's
Oh.
no like, all right, now to run to the bathroom and like use alcohol and this and that and go to the doctor real quick. No, you have to live with these results for a full 8 hours.
The course. 8 hours. It doesn't
8
work
hours
like
before
that.
you can do anything. Like we're in the woods, it's diarrhea. You wipe, and then 8 hours before we make it back to civilization, minimum. Like if we've run,
You might
and
not
we're
know.
black.
It takes about 2 or 3 days to break out.
Oh,
Yeah. So what happens is your 8 hours is long.
I don't know. On your asshole,
call
though,
it-
it's more absorbant.
Maybe it gets in there.
Yeah.
You could be right. I don't know. It's you. Yeah, I don't
None
really.
of us
I don't know
know.
enough
Yeah.
about this to dispute it, but you're making a lot of sense. So yeah, if you were to wait, I think maybe 3 hours, then I would get the full effect. And then from there,
are.
you just have like steroids and stuff to make it better quicker. But it's awful. And the first thing, like, well, $1 million. But obviously, like, would I actually do it? I would do it for 25 grand.
You got to picture the cash, right? Like that's how I like I've played this game with friends. Like whenever we'd see something disgusting growing up, like a puddle of literal like shit that had collected water, and it's just gross. Or like there would be a pile of chicken feed that had rained on, and it would be swarming with maggots. Like the grossest shit you can imagine. I'd be like, how much to take a bite, chew it up, but then you can spit it out and run to the hose. And Scott would be like, oh, like $50,000, and I'm like, dude, if I had $1,000 cash right here and fucking 20s, you'd munch that shit up. I get, and he starts thinking, he's like, yeah, I guess if you had cash, and it's like,
And if it was in 20s, you know, because
it matters. It really does matter because, like,
I think it would take 15 though. Like if for 10 grand, I don't think I would do it. For 25,
10
I
grand,
would.
I would do it for sure. 5 grand, I'd do it.
For 5, well, you might not be
I don't know
aware
if
of
I'm
the
allergic
suffering
to
you're
it.
signing up
Yeah,
for.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
We're
you have
talking about me here. Like
Or
this.
maybe
I
Woody,
know
if,
how
like-
horrible this will be.
I bet if we just had left the truck dealership and I was like, just think this 10 grand is going to be part of the down payment. Now that truck that you desire so much is only $31,000 for the top of the line truck. 31.
Have you been looking at trucks? They're like 70 grand.
That's only 60 grand. Top of the line truck. You
Depends
know?
which one you want, right? Like if you want that 250 thing,
No.
that-
F-150 King Ranch is going to be about 70 grand.
woo,
Yeah.
that's stout.
It's a lot. Yeah. I guess people are buying them. And also, I don't know what kind of deals people really get. Like, I feel like trucks get negotiated more than some other cars.
Yeah, there's a shitload of markup, like $10,000.
And then sometimes there's big dealer rebates.
Incentives.
Incentives, that's what I'm looking
Yeah.
for.
Rebates is the right word. Yeah, but
So, Yeah,
You
so
know,
I see
probably-
70 and I think, no flipping way. But if it's actually 49, I don't know. I don't know.
yeah, that would be a crazy amount of markup, but maybe 50. You know, I meant maybe 55, 60. Who knows? Because the more valuable, the more the vehicle costs, usually the more markup. Because like on a Ford Focus, it's like $700 to $900 markup depending on which trim level you're getting. But on like the big F-150s and the 250s, it was like $10,000 to $15,000 seemingly. You know, you could really move the price around.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too deep. Well, you have something in your
Yeah.
hand you liked?
Oh man, we got these Rhino 50,000 dick pills. They've got, I
There's
don't know
one
if
pill there.
No, I got a whole drawer full of these bad boys.
I think I got 5 of them. Or no,
Five
I
of-
linked you to the same thing I bought. I haven't got mine yet. They look festive.
you got the Rhino on the front. Time, size, stamina, and
It's
it's
a
got
big
like
bill.
like a hologram. It only seems like a big pill. It's
It does.
I'll open it up. I'm gonna open it up because it's a
Yeah.
pill inside of a like travel to go case in there, and it's so like I was thinking the same thing. I was like, can I even swallow this? This is like a small battery,
Right.
and but the thing is, this is a plastic
Like an
container,
LED light.
right? It's a plastic container that opens, and then the actual pill is sort of
Kyle's
normal.
expertise in this implies he's had
Oh
one.
wow, they
I
are
have
looking
had one.
to get sued if they're just packing that in a pill-shaped plastic container, and then they. It
didn't do anything.
I just shit it right out.
Somebody probably ate that. I'm
So
sure.
what
some
does the
moron.
packaging say? Anything that jumps out at you?
I'll read it quickly. Maximize the time of intercourse, free from premature ejaculation. How can that be? Better ejaculoin control. It says That's not a word. Ejaculatoin. EJACULATOIN. Better ejaculatoin control. No limits. No is all caps. Maximize volume of ejaculate. Wow.
Wait, they spelled ejaculation wrong
No.
on the container.
It sounded
Yes.
like ejaculation. Can you spell it slowly? EJ.
He spelled it was just with the I and O.
Transfix. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
They
just
misspelled
spelled-
ejaculation. They misspelled ejaculation on this container. That's what's going on. Amazing increase in thickness. Maximize in length. That's not proper English. Width and that word you can't see, but I'm pretty sure it's stamina. Experience rock hard erection. Maximize sexual confidence. I don't know. You can't see it because like the design of the
taking these
packaging.
pills.
Maximize intense explosive orgasms and guaranteed enhancement. Take one capsule 1 hour before sex to help energy, libido, and sexual performance. Rhino 50K can also, but there's an N at the end of also, be used on a regular basis to maintain optimal condition of readiness before sex. For best results, take Rhino 50K an hour apart from taking other supplements or medications. And the ingredients are goji extract, ginseng extract, some cinnamon bark, some words I can't pronounce correctly because they're absurd.
You
So,
make me
does it
really
have any- what are
curious.
the
Well,
warnings?
first of all, you took one. Did it work?
I took one an hour ago. We're gonna
Oh, you
find
did?
out when the show gets over. I got some company coming over, and we're gonna discover about these explosive orgasms or ejaculatoin.
Oh,
I-
it make it so also your ejaculate is much stronger. Like
So how much did you spend? $50?
No, these were like
15.
Really?
yeah, they're like $3 a pill.
Yeah.
I really want to try. Like, as far as I can tell, I have outstanding penile function. I've never had any want for to go aftermarket on this.
Yeah.
But you got to. I am curious.
You
Like,
have health insurance. I
mean-
strongly recommend next time you're at the doctor, you ask for Cialis. We got this as a
What
joke.
do you say? Because what would I if I
Yeah,
went, if
Kyle,
I went to
I
my
need a
doctor
line.
and was like, hey, I think I need some Cialis. He's gonna be like, oh, okay, Mr. 26. No,
No,
do you have trouble getting an erection and maintaining an erection? No. All right, then no.
yeah.
No, I'll tell you exactly what I told my doctor. I said, I have 3 girlfriends. They're running me ragged. I was like, I can't go 3 or 4 times in an hour or in a night or whatever.
Good approach.
I need more power. That's literally what I told this guy. And he was like, oh, you're living the life. And I'm like, I guess, but I need some assistance here. I said, I've taken Viagra before and that gave me headaches. So what do you recommend? And, you phrase it that way. You don't say, do you think I'm a candidate? You say, I've tried this and I don't like it. What do you think I should take? You don't ask, should I take something? Which one of these should I take? These are his options. And he's like, Cialis is what I usually prescribe. It's a little pricey, and it is.
How much is it?
I don't have health insurance. It's a bottle is like $250, and there's-
Well, I do have health insurance, and so I hope.
yeah.
that it's
It'll be
$200.
much cheaper. It's for me though. It's like $10 or $20 a pill. It's fucking worth it. It's fucking worth it. This shit is so powerful.
Yeah.
You just
People spend
just-
$10 on alcohol that night. Why not? Yeah, I mean,
And I don't drink.
If you're
There you
gonna have
go.
a party, it costs $10.
I'm telling
That's
you.
true. I'm
This-
afraid of getting one of those 4-hour plus
That's
erections.
bullshit. That's like that. No, don't worry about that. That's complete bullshit. That's not going to happen.
I'm afraid that I won't have, my erections now last as long as I want them to. I'm pretty happy with this ability I've
Your
developed,
penis
right?
gets so hard it hurts a little. It's the
That's
it's the
what I'm
most,
also afraid of.
It's
Yeah,
the most rock hard you've ever been, to the point where you touch it and it's not soft at all. Like there's no you can't, if you squeeze it, it's just it's a rock.
I've read that old people penises aren't as hard as young people. I guess I haven't hit that yet. My penis is just it's pretty much the same as it's always been, except I'm better at it. 18-year-old Woody, sometimes sex was over. Oops.
Now you're a sword master. Boy.
Yeah, now I'm like a fucking it's a trick rodeo cowboy or something. That shit does what I tell it to. That's it. That's where we are on this thing. So I'm like, is Viagra gonna make me 18 again? Because I'm actually
Cialis.
better
Do
now.
Not take the Viagra.
I was calling it like I would Kleenex.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, would Rhino pills make me I'm like, am I gonna go early? Because right now it's
Nah,
kind of.
this is almost assuredly bullshit, and it's really
Yeah.
just for a laugh, and maybe it does work.
Oh, you
and-
think
and
it
we'll
won't
see.
work?
No, this
Oh,
I
I'm
don't
almost
think this is
positive
going to
it
work
won't
at all.
work. Yeah,
I'm going to try
mean,
it. If I get an
it may
opportunity,
have-
I'll try it this weekend.
Some of these ingredients, I'm no metallurgist. I'm not Wings of Redemption here, but cinnamon bark sounds like
funny.
it. I don't know. I'm sure some of these ingredients aid sexual function in some manner, but not that noticeable manner. It's like
Cinnamon
you
bark
take-
is good on your applesauce. Maybe I'll just sprinkle that
I
pill on
love it,
my
right?
applesauce and then.
I don't, I've worked out with and without creatine, and there's a noticeable difference with creatine. Like your muscles are harder. You are literally stronger.
Not as sore.
But
Yeah.
it's a minor difference. It's like 10% more. You're like 10% better than normal. I'm telling you, with Cialis, you are 30% better than before. It's absurd. And you've stated that you just really feel like you're tip top notch on the sexual function thing. your I can't believe I'm spacing on the word, but your ability to go a second, third, fourth time is
refractory period.
Refractory period is not only minimized in time, but it's also minimized in significance. You're not always as good as you were the second time or the third time, but with this, you absolutely are. And I'm telling you, it's such a noticeable difference. It's fun.
It's the
fun
third
to take
time
and be
that
like,
always
look
gets
at
you.
this.
Yeah.
Look at it.
I don't know why.
Look at
Those
it,
fucking
me.
commercials scared me to death of those. If you experience an erection lasting longer than 4 hours, like I've had erections that lasted like 2 hours before, and it starts to get very uncomfortable. You know, like it's no longer like woohoo, having a great time. It's like, all right, there needs to be a break here biologically. Like that's why I'm not nervous to take this rhino stuff, because if it does, it's not going to do fucking anything.
Dude, there's no telling what's in this rhino stuff
But-
if we're all being completely honest.
How long
here.
ago did you take it?
An hour.
An hour from now, do you feel anything different about
Not at
yourself
all.
at all?
Not a
Can you
bit.
like
So, but
give yourself a couple tugs?
with
I haven't
Cialis,
stopped.
like, do you have to get aroused, or is it just like, well,
Have to get around.
I have an issue here. Can anyone help me? Like, I'm
Yeah,
I'm
it's not
afraid
like-
of that.
It's not like a comedy movie where like, oh yeah, we gave him Viagra and now look, he has an uncontrollable erection. It's not that at all. It's just your stuff works better, and a smaller amount of like stimuli is more effective, but zero stimuli will do nothing. You
So
know, like if you're just sitting there and like going about if you're raking leaves in the yard, maybe if you happen upon an extra curvy piece of wood, as Morty said, you know, but if you're just raking leaves, nothing's going to happen if you've taken, you know, a massive dose of this stuff.
So-
It's just not.
Now, I know what you told your doctor, but that won't work for me. What would you tell your doctor if you were me and you wanted to score something?
He's
You're
not
fu-
going to quibble over this. Like
Yeah.
this isn't like TRT where it's like an experimental thing. Like I would say, hey, I had some. I would say, hey, I have a friend who's used Cialis, and he says it works wonders. Could I get a sample package of something like that? And he'll most of the time just give you 5 pills for free in a little
but-
like
But Woody doesn't even need that.
paper.
Like I would need the silly excuse because I'm in.
Not necessarily.
I'm
There are
26.
plenty
Woody,
of young
you can
men
just
who
go
have
in and say,
erectile dysfunction.
"Hey,
Like, you could-
I want to
if
enjoy
you're not
sex with my wife
embarrassed-
more."
if you're not embarrassed to tell your doctor that you have erectile dysfunction, then just tell him that. And he's not
Oh,
going
I don't
to.
even know the
What do you
dude.
think?
Yeah.
Nurse, could you come in here? We need to run a few tests. Like, she's not going to start, like, jerking you off. And, look at him. He's hard. He lied to us.
No, bring in a male nurse. I'm gay too. Look at that. Look at that. No movement. I got nothing, Doc. I need to.
This isn't like you're scoring,
This is the
like,
play.
opioids.
Yeah, this is-
Yeah.
Opioids or antibiotics, which are things that doctors don't like prescribing unless you absolutely need them. You know, they don't want to give overprescribe antibiotics. They don't want to overprescribe opioids. This is like heartburn medication. If you just tell your, hey, I'd like some Prevalax or whatever for my heartburn, he's not going to be like, drink this liter of orange juice and let me observe you. You know, he's not going to check to see if you have acid reflux or anything.
it's horrible. All right, eat
Bad.
the Totinos and then we'll take the final judgment. Yeah.
Maybe, maybe next time I get a physical or something, I'll just toss that out there. Like, yeah, my friend tried this, said he was the super version of him. I want to see what that's all
Gonna
about.
hook you right the fuck up. You know, like
Yeah.
it's not gonna be, it's not a quibble over this really. I mean, it's so widely used now. It's about as safe as a medication can get. Like if boner pills were causing issues, we would be hearing about it.
Now, I thought, now what you have, I've heard called gas station boner pills. Now, everything I know about this topic comes from you and Joe Rogan.
yeah,
So, yeah, it's pretty much expert level.
Absolutely.
Why are people taking gas station dick pills if they don't work? Like, wouldn't they be widely known not to work?
The same reason that people buy stuff to make their dick bigger, it's because they want to
That's the whole
believe that it will work. And like if I feel like if people see a package that says, "Hey, this is going to make your dick bigger. This is going to do like this or that." Most people are like, "Okay, yeah, no," because that's ridiculous. This would be the largest company on the planet if they'd uncovered something here. So no. And so the ones that say like, "Oh, this is just like it's like Cialis, but you don't have to go to your doctor. You can just get it right here while you're getting your lottery tickets and whatever trashy gullible
Slim
people buy."
Jims.
Yeah, and your Slim Jims and your cigarettes and the whole whole nine. Like,
Yeah, I
so
want to believe that, but
that
I've
makes
heard
sense.
people say that it absolutely does work and it works very well. I think it depends on which one you're taking. You know, I bet some of them do work because like what they said on Rogan. Again, this is my source of information. They were like, well, so and so says he takes them, and they're incredible. That they just work really, really well, and they give him tons of extra performance.
I know, but also Joe Rogan's podcast is like the universal lighthouse beacon to placebo effects. Because all the time he has guests on, and I don't listen as regularly as I did years ago, but it'd be like, oh, you got to try this thing. It's an isolation tank. It's what they do here is you take these, when you eat elk steak, it actually I feel different when I eat it. Like it makes me feel more energized. Like do you like there was
I think
there's
Rogan
one,
himself
there's
has made
one
like
Joe
8
Rogan
million
episode.
on it, right? Like Brain Booster.
He has, but it doesn't mean it works. Like none of that stuff
I
works.
agree. Yeah. Like,
It's the exact same shit that you're gonna find in Alex Jones' store, frankly.
I want to do the float tank though, because that's a completely different sort of thing. That's not.
I've got a bed and I can close my eyes.
Are you supposed to be high? I feel like sometimes people don't. They're like, I went in the float tank and I started hallucinating. I'm like, all right, what else did you do? Were you on acid in your float tank?
Were you on mushrooms? Yeah.
Were you on
I think that drugs do help. The CIA did those experiments where they gave people massive doses of LSD and they put them in the float tanks. And of course, Rogan is eating edible. No, you can't drown in there. And Rogan is, of course, taking massive doses of edibles, like edible marijuana, before he goes in there. And I've heard that that's what you should do when you're going in there.
Then how do you know what's working? Like if you split the variables like that?
Because, if you've had the edible marijuana before, you're probably not like going on a mystical journey. You're just dopey. But getting in the sensory deprivation tank really interests me because, first of all, I'm a little scared. I wanted to do it last time we were out in Colorado because they have that place that has
I remember that.
I was like, let's go float, guys, and you guys were like, oh, let's do mini golf instead. All right, fine, do mini golf.
You can do mini golf anywhere,
we
Taylor.
We could have laid in tanks alone quietly for a premium.
Now Taylor's starting to make more sense. I don't know.
You're telling me you don't
affordable.
want to pay $40 an hour or whatever it was
That's about
to lay in a tank alone and not be able to talk to the people that you're on a trip
I just want to know more about the
with.
cleanliness of the water. What are the odds that someone else peed in it?
Oh, it's
They're all
fresh.
high. Yeah.
I really hope they're giving you fresh water, right? Like a whole new solution if you're paying $40. Although that you would have to question, like, that salt's expensive. Are they recycling the salt? Like, that's a lot of
It's
salt.
salt
in there.
water?
It's got because it's like the Dead Sea type concentrations of salt water so that you float. You're completely suspended. You're not touching the bottom of this tank, and it's a rather small tank. It's like coffin size,
I think salt's about $1 a pound. Like, so I wouldn't think they'd
I don't
spend
know.
more than $12 or $15 on the salt.
it's got to be
It's a big chunk of 40.
It's got to be It's got to be a lot of salt. Remember that scene from Stranger Things where they made their own float tank and there's dumping tons and tons of salt in there? Like it's a lot of salt. I heard someone talk about the formula for it, like how many pounds of salt per gallon it required to get X amount of buoyancy for like the.
I have a
Dead Sea.
tiny bit of expertise in this because I have a saltwater pool, and you buy the 15-pound bag for I think like $15, and if it's what I'm picturing, like a little pod from the Matrix, then I would think one bag would make it really salty.
There are
especially in a very small tank.
pounds. No. There are
I know what
800.
he's talking about. I used to do that all the time in our pools. Walk around with a giant bag.
I've got the answer here. There are roughly 850 pounds of salt and 200 gallons of water in an average size float tank. So
there's 4
800
pounds of
does it-
salt per
physics-
gallon of water?
yeah,
But
slightly more
how?
than that.
That's very surprising to me.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be something like that because it has to be very salty.
Can you link that? I'm
Does this even
convinced you
feel like water
misinterpreted
at
it.
this point?
Yeah, it seems like you're laying in a bed of wet salt.
Sand. Yeah. Hey, this place is a gyp. This is just sand.
I'm on the beach.
Fuck, we didn't think they'd notice because we locked
Am I
them in
being
a coffin.
preserved?
We didn't think they noticed because they're high as fuck.
Yeah.
They're like a salted ham.
What do you think? Like, I'm sure because it was Colorado, they're like, someone could be like, hey, I'm getting in super high. And they're like, well, enjoy your trip, man. What if someone was like, the way I do it is I drink a whole fifth of Jack Daniels and I get into this hub. And then they get in there. That'd be a recipe for death.
Well, there's no misinterpreting this. It's 850 pounds for 200 gallons. And they say the float tank is 8 by 4 feet, which is, I pictured it a little narrower, but that's, yeah, Kyle's right.
Yeah, I guess
I'm just
a gallon of
surprised.
is way bigger than a pound of salt. Like that helps picture it. You know.
Yeah, I know. You know how big like a concrete bag is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've probably done saltwater pools too. Like that's roughly how much salt I pour in at a time. I would have thought it'd just take one of those and you'd have salty water. I guess not.
And it has to be
Not run
like
our
so
own-
salty that it creates that extra buoyancy, like the Dead Sea. Like, have you seen those people who go to the Dead Sea and float? Like, on it's really
And
remarkable.
They're
to see them do it.
surprisingly floaty. Yeah.
Yeah, like I saw Carl Pilkington do it. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I see they float." Oh, he's like, "Oh, is someone gobbed here?" There's like a big loogie, like a Band-Aid on him. He's like, "Ah, let's get the fuck out of
Is
here."
that someone's gob? He looks at his belly button. I've been listening to more Carl Pilkington stuff recently. I've heard most of it before, but his show with Ricky Gervais and all that, like Monkey News and Ask Carl Pilkington and his diary. And if you guys have not listened to the YouTube series, just type in Carl Pilkington stories or XM.
Monkey News is good.
Monkey News, like they are all. They're so fucking funny that it is hard to believe that he's not just an incredible actor.
He is. I think he's an idiot savant of some kind, because sometimes he says things that are really dumb and he doesn't. But sometimes it's so dumb that you're like, "Oh, come on, you're not that dumb, are you?" And he produces that XFM radio show that they do. He's the fucking producer. Like he can't be retarded, you know. But there's times when he's just. I've listened to. I listen to it at night and then I let it play when I go to sleep. I like to have something playing and. So I go to sleep to the sounds of Ricky Gervais and Carl Pilkington. And Ricky
Gervais laugh.
Cackle of Ricky Gervais. But Carl, you know, on that show there are hours and hours of this stuff. Carl's diary is good, and but if you pay
today.
Yeah, if you pay attention, like there's a little joke at the end of each diary entry. Like he's writing a joke as he goes. You know, so I don't know how dumb or smart Carl is. And I think that's the brilliance of him. I don't necessarily need to know. But yeah, that's really funny stuff.
And it's hard to fool me at this point. Like I'm sure it is with all of us at this point. We have enough internet experience that like when we see something that's like a prank video that's fake or over the top, we're like, oh, sirens are going off. I know this is fake.
Yeah.
Like, even if I can't properly articulate exactly why I
sometimes
can know
it's just
fake,
the
I still
camera
know
angle.
it's fake. Yeah, it's just
like
a camera angle or something.
Yeah,
With
the
him,
audio is good on this. Why the
it's
fuck
impossible. Yeah, the audio thing is true. Where like you'll watch a video that's like really, or like the worst are like the street fights where it's like halfway through you're like, this is dope, and then you're like, oh man, like nobody's this good of a camera person in a street fight. Like this is fake. But yeah, check out Carl Pilkington. Anyone out there who hasn't, it's fucking hilarious.
You mentioned Carl Pilkington. To me, he's in that realm of comedian that gets pimped by a bigger comedian. Joey Diaz is there too, and there's usually something about them that's not quite ready for prime time. Like they have moments of brilliance, but they're not constantly brilliant. I don't know Carl Pilkington as well, but I listen to a lot of Joey Diaz, and Joe Rogan constantly says he's the funniest man on the planet, right? He has his moments. I don't know why Rogan thinks he's that funny.
It's because they're like really, really good friends, I think, and so he obviously like pumps his tires a little bit.
Joey's been doing stand up for like decades or something, traveling around and.
He is a funny guy, but
I think Rogan believes it. Now, I hear what Taylor's saying, and maybe I'm being gullible, but I think Rogan, like for whatever Diaz is saying, Joey Diaz, it just fits what Rogan likes to hear in comedy.
Yeah, it's like he has his moments, but I'm not a huge fan of Joey. He gets a little bit too fucking crazy and animated, and he's a little disgusting to look at.
That is a legit downside. I don't like his confidence.
Too disgusting to look at.
He will just be like, I'm fucking telling you, this guy is that. This guy, oh my God, everyone's stupid but me. And I'm like,
Joe Rogan, let me tell you, Joe Rogan. You know, as he always calls him Joe Rogan.
Yeah, he calls him first and last name. They've been friends for like 30 years. He still calls him Joe Rogan.
You seen that clip where he's talking about Khabib Nurmagomedov and he's got gum in his mouth and he's so like, he looks like he's on coke. Like he's so like,
could be.
Joe,
probably is.
He's chewing the gum aggressively, so it's like almost jumping out of his mouth, and he keeps calling him Khabib, Khabibi, and he's like Khabib Nurmagomedov, and he's like Khabibi Nemaga. like he can't even come close.
I mean,
It's,
the reason his voice is like that is because of all the coke he did.
It wouldn't be
Lots
from
of
the
drugs.
yelling, you don't think?
No, it's definitely from he's got like that coke sound.
I don't know about
okay.
that. I know
Yeah,
he's
don't-
fucked up. It's,
I'm not saying it's not something I know about.
I'm not a
Yeah.
huge fan. He's just okay.
Yeah,
Carl's
but,
not
but-
even really a comedian. He's
Yeah.
just like a personality or something.
the
He's
thing
just
with,
like weird.
With Carl being like you were saying, Joey Diaz isn't ready for prime time. I agree. I don't think he is. I think like he's a funny enough guy, but not the funniest person in the world. Carl Pilkington has had multiple shows now of Idiot Abroad or
Moaning
God,
Life.
Moaning of Life, and they got rave reviews. Everybody I've ever showed that show to or recommended it to has always got back to me like, I cannot believe I'd never heard of that before. Like, because it was like, it's, if you haven't watched them, Woody,
I've seen Idiot Abroad a lot, maybe
Idiot
all
Abroad.
of them.
Moaning of Life is his other one, and it's just as funny. I
Idiot
think.
Abroad's not that good.
I don't like
it-
the midget.
Oh, I love it.
To me, Idiot Abroad, like, what is it, 30 minutes or 60? I forget, but
I think
probably
it's
Maybe
40.
60.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think of that 60 minutes, there'll be a good, enjoyable 5 in there. And there's just a whole lot of, like, guy being bored while great things happen. You know, like, I'm going to take a train across, like, what the fuck is
Siberia.
next to Russia? Kazakhstan?
Kazakhstan. Is one
Kazakhstan?
of the places.
It might
That's
be,
where
but
all the
that's not what
stands
I'm
are.
going for. And
Uzbekistan.
Mongolia.
Mongolia.
Yeah, Mongolia is what I was going for. So it's like I'm taking a train off across Mongolia, and there's like amazing things to see, and it's an experience, and there's all these like, I'll say unpleasant people on the train, but that's part of the journey. You know, like you're a fish out of water, which of course is the whole thing is based on fish out of water, and all he does is just like complain about being out of water, and just
Yeah,
The way
but-
he complains, though, that's funny.
That's actually
Because
the
you can
point
tell
of the
he's
show.
genuinely upset.
It's
at
not
multiple
necessarily
points.
about fish out of water. It's about Ricky Gervais coming up with a bucket list, but it's not Carl's bucket list. It's an actually interesting person's bucket list, and Carl hates this. Like Carl would rather be at home eating like potato chips and Twix and like living a really simple life. The gag is that like he doesn't find any of this. Goes to the top of Mount Fuji and he's like, well, that's all right, isn't it? All right. He gets and
Right,
like
isn't it?
I can't remember like he gets.
I think I
he's
saw
in,
this
like,
on a screensaver. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
like
he
something
gets
like
to,
that.
like like he goes like Angkor Wat or whatever, and like he's like, do we have to go all the way? Like we can see it from here. We see it. And he like quits. He quits instead of walking the
I
last.
think he was
like,
bungee jumping in one I saw, and he either didn't do it or quit or something. Like he just
Quit.
pussied out.
Yeah.
Always pussies out.
Yeah, and I'm it like I said, Joey Diaz somehow is that perfect puzzle piece that fits what Rogan thinks is funny. That's not my opening. We're not.
He fits up well with me with what I think is funny.
Yeah.
Like, because I like being
I'm
able to
down with
tell, like with a reality show, like if, on Real World or whatever, that show hasn't been on in fucking forever. But if one of them were sitting.
You dated
on-
yourself. Well, welcome to
Sorry.
welcome to my world.
That's the last one I remember enjoying. And that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it had
But,
Punk on it. He rode his bike and picked his nose.
Like if one of those guys were sitting on the steps of one of those Indian temples with all those macaques running around, and they got their bag of Lay's stolen, they'd be like, oh man, like this sucks, that fucking monkey has it, and then it'd like zoom in all goofy, and they're like it would be silly and scripted. Like when Carl was sitting there like thinking he was on his break, enjoying his last packet of crisps, by the monkeys. And he opens it up, and a monkey comes down, and like one of them slaps his ear, and he turns. The other one grabs his chips, and they run away. Like you can see in his face, like how upset he is that they're filming him from so far away that he thinks he's on a break, and he's just like, a monkey took my last crisps. Like he's just so, I don't know. Like I like how it's intentionally making him uncomfortable. And for the first 5-6 episodes of that, he will continue to call back to Ricky and be like, this is an awful holiday. He's like, Carl, how many times do I have to tell you, you're not on holiday? This is a job. This is a job. You're filming a television series for Sky One. I know, Ricky. And he's like doing this whole thing. I just...
That's some funny shit. So I think we had like our pool of like who would be the next sexual abuse guy that came out.
You get
John
half,
Travolta.
you get half of him because he
Oh.
has come out before.
He has, but resurfaced.
Yeah, I
Resurfaced.
saw on Reddit. Resurface was the actual word it used.
Yeah,
and
I linked you there. If you scroll just a tiny bit, John Travolta sexual battery. So good times, man. Like the Oscars going to be lonely this year. It's just going to be like Rob Schneider and David Spade up there. Like, I thank you for Best Actor award, and there's going to be nobody left.
I wasn't even in a movie this year, but we don't have a very deep bench.
Tommy Boy was 19 years ago, but finally some recognition. Like I hope that Tom Cruise gets called out. I hope that all the A-listers get brought down and destroyed, and a new crowd rises up from the ashes of destroyed Hollywood. I would love that if it turned out Tom Cruise was like really scary with some Scientology like prisoners in his basement, like he was allowing them to like run some sort of mental correction facility, some sort of brainwashing at his property, and there were people in cages or something, like on the Family Guy episode. Like that would be great. I'd like it if he got taken down, because I can't even enjoy a Tom Cruise movie. He's such
really
a personality. I don't hate him. It's just that like you see Tom Cruise is in a role and you're like, oh, that's Tom Cruise. You can't picture him as the guy from The Mummy or Jack Reacher, much less. Like I don't know if you guys know much about Jack Reacher, the novels, or if you've seen the movie.
Bit.
And basically
Just that he's
Taylor,
supposed to be big and strong.
Supposed to be 6'4", 240 roughly. A guy who literally snaps necks and breaks arms and has the physical prowess and training to do those things believably. And they put 5'8" on a good day Tom Cruise in there as this guy, and he literally beats up 5 men simultaneously, routinely in the show, and sort of nonchalantly. And it's
you know who loves Tom Cruise? Short extras. Because like if me or Kyle go in and they're like, all right, we'd love to be the people fighting Tom Cruise, and be like, oh no, we've got a great crop of 5'5" guys over here, they're gonna kill it for us. Like that he's a job creator.
I do my own stunts.
He's a
Taylor.
job creator. I like Tom Cruise. I
don't dislike him. I'm just totally indifferent.
I
don't know
do
anything
see
about
what
him other than
Kyle
Tom Cruise.
What's
says.
your favorite
where-
Tom Cruise movie?
The one where he goes in time repeatedly. He plays like,
that's a good fucking movie. Day After Tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
The Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, Edge of
Excuse me.
Tomorrow. Day After
The
Tomorrow
Edge
is
of Tomorrow.
not a good movie.
Completely different movie. Yeah, whole different.
Edge of
shit,
Tomorrow is my favorite Tom Cruise movie.
making a sequel.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to do that. Or how
I don't
it
know
would make
either. I hope
sense.
it's clever.
I
You
think-
know my favorite one? The Star Trek reboot. The first Star Trek, it's like they obeyed the canon, and then it had a time travel aspect, and the time travel aspect served to make a really interesting movie and to reset the canon, because like nobody's future is set. And I was like,
Agreed.
that was so well done. And
I agree completely. You don't piss off the classic fans, but you still find a way to spice things up for any new fans you might be getting, and without retelling the old story. It's excellent. I love the first Star Trek reboot movie. But Taylor, I'm sure you are very interested to see what Amazon is going to do, since they plunked out $250 million to the Tolkien estate for
Thank
just the
God,
rights
because
to produce.
I can't be alone in thinking that 6 3-hour movies was not enough to cover Lord of the Rings.
Not even close.
Yeah, they must need hundreds of hours more of Lord of the Rings
See those
content.
I'm split on it, because I'm such a huge Lord of the Rings fan of the lore and everything that I'm going to watch it no matter what. Like unless they just do something that is insultingly ridiculous.
Like
to
The
it.
Hobbit?
Girl power,
Like-
a few gay hobbits, a couple black hobbits.
Dude, if they don't stick with, like, I mean, the whole entire world is written based on, medieval Europe. And so
With a
that's
bit of
why
World War I taste.
like, and so that's why it's all white people, because that's kind of the era he was writing about. If he was writing about ancient African, warring tribes, all the characters would be black, but he wasn't writing about that. And so what I don't want more than anything is for them to bastardize the story. I don't want them to inject a bunch of new characters for no reason. That's a big fear. Is that going to be like, oh, these are all the hobbits going on their way, and then they also bring along a little hobbit girl.
It's funny,
who
'cause I
ends
do
up
want
bailing them
that.
out of so many situations.
Here's-
Like, no, I don't want new characters. I don't want forced diversity into it, because that'll take you out of the moment. Like, I don't want a lady dwarf in there. Like, part of the fun of it is like you don't see that kind of stuff. It's just kind of in the ether. Like, I don't want it wouldn't make sense for Aragorn and some, and then some black guy shows up and he's like, I'm also a Dunedain. And he's like, oh, that's interesting. Let's just keep walking as though this world contained black people before this.
From the south side of Dunedain.
All right.
see,
I want to jump in. I have no
Let's
problem with
do the
diversity.
damn
That
thing.
doesn't impact me in the same way. I don't want the same characters. I don't want it to be Pippin and the whatever.
No, it won't be.
Yeah, I want it to be in the Lord of the Rings universe. I want those rules to be established. Whatever powers Dunedains and wraiths and elves and dwarves have, it should be based on the books. So I want Lord of the Rings universe, but I want all new characters and stories. We do not need to just cover the same ground again. It's been more than covered.
So this is a prequel. So you're probably going to go back, maybe get some Morgoth stuff, maybe go back.
So how I generally didn't know that. I thought they
Yeah,
might
so
just be redoing the series again.
Nah, you're not getting the Lord of the Rings. You're getting the Tolkien
Okay,
universe.
I'm not
so
as
they could do
upset
some
about this.
Silmarillion stuff. They're going to go back before the War for the Rings, because once the War for the Rings happens, that kind of like happy ever after for the rest of the
They
that
destroyed
universe.
the ring.
Yeah,
right?
they destroyed the
can't
ring. And the elves
undestroy
are
it.
gone. The elves are gone. They go off to the Undying Lands, and most of our main characters also to the Undying Lands. So you can't go after Lord of the Rings, and you really can't retell the Lord of the Rings, a series that won like 25 Oscars or something like that.
Yeah.
So they're going to go before. So you very well may have Gandalf in there. Almost certain. I doubt there's going to be, because Gandalf's like whatever 1,500 or 2,000 years or older, some shit. Aragorn was only 90 or roughly at the time of the battle for the ring, so hopefully they go even before him.
A
you know
debuffed,
how much of a prequel
debuffed
it is?
Gandalf would be pretty cool, actually. Like if he was a little younger and struggling to figure out how to be
Sexy.
a wizard,
He would be or it depends how far back they go.
Yeah.
With
Sexy
all
Gandalf.
this, like because it would just be Gandalf the Grey again.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Well, but even
Yeah.
Gandalf the Grey at the start of the show was pretty competent. I mean, he was able to
Gandalf
beat
the Young.
Belron and like make fire. Like he didn't like ever fuck up his spells or anything. Let's go back a little bit, right? Let's go back when
little
Gandalf.
words.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit!
Right. Like, let's go to where like he's like, yeah, can you do fireworks? Well, a little, like.
from where he gets expelled from Hogwarts for just stabbing another student. Like, Gandalf, this is not a place for swords. It's like, you guys are the biggest pussy wizards I've ever heard. You just unlocked a door with your magic because you didn't want to push the bar open. You fucking fruit. Like,
Yeah.
If it's a prequel, I'm way more okay with it then. I just hope that they stay true to it and they avoid the ham-handed pandering diversity stuff for the sake of it, because anything that takes me out of the universe is not if they made Kunta Kinte an Irish guy, I'd have a hard time
Who's Kunta
following
Kinte?
Roots. He was
He's
the
from Roots.
the slave from Roots. Like if they made that guy Irish, it would not make any sense. It would ruin the story.
name is Toby.
Yeah. And
You'll
that-
do
and the
fucking
reason-
nothing to his master.
Yeah, you'll do fucking nothing.
Uh,
No, I just hope they keep in line with like the style, because I love Lord of the Rings, like the way the Uruk-hai armor looks, the way the elves culture looks, the way you can tell Tolkien put so much attention and detail into all these different cultures and all their practices and all the things they do. And I hope they don't break that mold too much, because that
better
is
get the Weta
what makes
Workshop.
up the entire world.
They better get Weta Workshop on board, and if they're smart, they'll go to that warehouse wherever the fuck it is and buy up all those props and costumes that were used for the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings movies, and start with good shit. Because that's one of the many issues with the Hobbit, was obviously that Guillermo del Toro was originally directing the films, and he had like a crazy version of the Hobbit that he was making that I'm sure was darker and probably scarier, and we would have preferred. And then he has to leave the production for whatever reason, I don't recall. And then Peter Jackson takes over with only a couple of months of pre-production time available. Whereas with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, he had 3.5 years of pre-production to scout places, to draw up storyboards, to hammer down a perfect script.
I've never seen the third Hobbit, and I'm not sure I've seen the
Good.
second. I
Don't worry
want
about
to. I feel like
Nah, you don't. I promise you don't.
No, what
Give
happened in
You
the
may tell
second
you what
one?
happens
They're
with the
not good.
dragon.
Let me ask you this. In the first one, I remember, which one did they go in barrels and Legolas, whatever, jump? That was one. Fuck. Give me something that happened in two so I can tell you if I saw it.
You see the dragon. Bilbo goes into the ocean of gold, and he meets Schmog the dragon.
And they have a conversation, right?
They
Yeah.
do have
That doesn't
a
happen in
conversation.
one at the end?
No, No, it doesn't. They haven't made it to the Dwarven city yet at that point.
Well,
So then, at the end of 2, Smog like flies out of the fucking Dwarven city, and he's about to go lay some pain down on the city that's like right
Definitely
next
saw
door.
that, and that's kind of like where Cliff hangs.
It cliff hangs there, and you think, oh shit. When the 3rd movie starts, it's a dragon movie. I bet they spend an hour fighting this dragon. Dude, they fight that dragon for about 12 minutes. And by fight, I mean the dragon burns a few buildings, talks some shit to like one guy while the guy's cocking the only weapon in this universe that can kill the dragon. He's like cocking the biggest bow ever in a bell tower with a black arrow. And Smog is like, you think you've got it? No, please. I'm gonna fly straight towards you. and the guy like
Shoots him.
kills him, and that's it. The fucking dragon just dies like 10 minutes into
I
the
think
3rd
I'm gonna
movie.
watch it.
Yeah.
And there's no more dragon now, so like the story doesn't matter. So now you're like,
And
Look
and
at
then
the
the
story
battle
go
of the
from-
5 armies.
oh,
It
the
was so
snooze
bad.
fest of the century.
It upset me because
All the
I
CGI.
remembered imagining how that battle would look from reading the book it myself and being like, man, this would be so cool. And then like you see the dwarves running in, and they're just like basically, you know, those liquid physics engines you'll see, like it'll be like, oh, look at how this liquid flows. Did you know it's not even real? Well, I did know that the dwarves flowing down this crevasse were not real because they were basically like bouncing over one another. Like it looked horrible. So that's another huge thing for this is that if they do CGI instead of costumes and makeup and armor, it's going to ruin it.
They did a
that's part
weird
of what
thing
makes Lord of the Rings so good.
with colors in The Hobbit. Like they were like, yeah, this camera kind of darkens everything. So all the actors are dressed in fluorescence, and then they like suck the colors out, and in the end, it just looks shitty. Did you not know that?
There was
I
a lot
didn't
of
know-
things
no.
going on. Like
There was so
they,
much
they,
shit
they were
to start
shooting
an
it at a
episode.
higher frame rate. They were shooting it in 4K simultaneously.
Ooh, I want to get like there must be some 4K 48 frames per second version that one could find.
Totally,
And-
yeah.
And I could watch that on a laptop.
The Amazon Blu-ray Master Edition or whatever, some shit like that on a laptop. Don't do that.
Where else
Don't,
would
yeah,
I
the
watch?
movie's bad enough.
I don't know that my projector. I mean, my projector wouldn't
yeah,
do 4K.
probably
That's
would.
for sure. I bet it would do 60 frames per second though.
Yeah, I don't know much about that. I've got the 4K TV and I play stuff on the Xbox. If I've got for the 4K for the Blu-rays that I do have.
I'll have to look again for maybe Black Friday. I'll look at 4K projectors, but every time I only look like every 6 months or so.
Wait another 5 years maybe.
Because 4K
Christ almighty.
TVs are not that bad. You know, you
No,
can-
they've become almost affordable. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much is a big 4K TV. Like if you wanted to go 60 inches or better.
Taylor?
Did you buy
I'm
one
not
recently?
even looking at 4K anymore.
Oh, you didn't get it?
No, I ended up not getting it, and I don't really think I need 4K.
What'd you
So I'm not
find? Tell me
entirely
what
sold.
you must know something.
Oh, it was not that expensive. It was like $800 for like a 60-inch one, 65-inch. Like
1080 though, right?
no, there were 4K ones on Amazon.
Yeah, yeah. We a few months back, like we found this crazy, like whenever Taylor was moving into his new place, like we found this crazy cheap deal on like I don't know a Philips or a Sony or something.
Yeah.
It
Wasn't
just
a Sony,
depends
those
what
are
you
expensive.
want. Like I do this about every 6 months as well. Like I look at big 4K TVs because I can't go smaller than 72 inches, so I have to have a 75-inch 4K TV if I'm gonna get a new TV. There's just no point in getting a smaller TV.
Yeah.
Like I want to step up in resolution, not step down in size. I'd rather have a big 1080 than a medium-sized 4K. I already have a medium-sized 4K, so they're expensive. Like the good one, like not the greatest one, but the good one is like $5,000. The greatest ones, of course, are like 10 or 12 grand.
Going from 60 to 70 inches is huge in
Really
the
big.
price. Like
Yeah.
you can get a really good price on a 60-inch 4K TV. If
Yeah,
you
you
take
can.
it up to 70 inches, it might
20,
literally be
30%
double.
more.
Like
Yeah,
it might
gets-
actually be. It's
It,
so
it,
much more.
it truly is. Like the price jump between the 60-inch and the 75-inch 4K TV is enormous. I don't know if that has to do with technology or just supply and demand.
It's
I
actually a
don't know.
lot bigger too,
Probably
right?
demand.
Like it sounds like the numbers are close, but as you know, like what happens to the
Diagonal.
area,
the area.
it might be twice as big or something like it.
It's significant. Like I love my 72-inch TV so much. When people see it, they're always just like, "Whoa, that's so cool!" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like few things that I own get that reaction out of people. And like, I love watching. I've had girls like be in bed with me and be like, well, let's just stay here and enjoy this wonderful TV. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah,
sounds good to me. Yeah,
You think that TV's cool? You should see my dick.
Yeah, right.
It's not 72 inches though.
But it's
Way
the
cheaper
area.
though. You
The area.
What was I gonna say? Oh, so I've had a projector for a couple of years. I don't consider myself an expert, but I've learned a thing or two. I'd really like my next projector to be an LED bulb. Our bulb goes like every 6 months or so, and they're like $400. So like every 6 months, you pay $400 for the bulb on your TV, and when it breaks, it explodes like and rains glass on the people watching it. So that's an issue, and it's really hot. So there's a fan going all the time. Whereas I think if it was an LED, it maybe wouldn't need that kind of fan. And I want it to be 4K, and it needs to be bright. So I want my next projector to be good, and they seem to be about 12 grand right now. That just seems like a lot. So we'll see what's up. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm trying to think. Did yard work? No one wants to hear about that, but it was a big thing for me.
I did, this week or on this Sunday, I started doing that thing where you like cook your whole, like all your meals out.
Meal
ahead
prep
of time.
Sunday. Okay.
Yeah, I did something like that. So I just like picked something really simple. I made an enormous amount of brown rice. I bought these nice like Tupperware snap down things with like divided insides to it, and then I just baked. I don't even know how many pounds. I like the rack. I had to fill it up entirely twice, and then I still had some extra of chicken thighs, because that's dark meat and it's going to taste better than chicken breast, which I didn't want to fuck. I figured my first time doing this, I've never baked enough chicken to feed 30 people at once. Like, and if I dry a bunch of the breast and just ruin it, that'll bum me out. So I did the chicken thigh thing. I did Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I ate the meal before this. Not that good, but I'm basically like I've made my diet now. Like in the morning, I do like my protein shakes. I do 2 scoops of that, and then throughout the morning I'll drink that, and then I'll have like a banana at like noon or 1, and I don't eat a real lunch there. And then when I get home, I'm famished, and so suddenly the shitty baked chicken thighs that I reheat and are like, oh, this isn't too bad, is it? and so I eat that as fast as I can, and with all like the cup and a half or however much brown rice I have in there, maybe 2 cups, I don't know. And then I'll have like some broccoli or baby carrots with that. And then at night before bed, I have another one of those 2 scoop protein shakes, because I think it's good to like have your body always have access to a bunch of protein to be repairing. And so all that together is only like 1,600 calories a day. And so I think I should be able to cut weight decently quickly, as long as I don't cheat on Friday, Saturday too much, which
I've
I
been eating
do.
every night, and I mean every night, because I keep going back to the store and getting more. I've been eating 1 quart and it's 1.25 quarts of ice cream. Every night I've been eating this.
This is ridiculous. I hate this topic now.
I'm not
That's
even
a totally different approach to what I just described myself doing now.
last night. But then yesterday I went to the grocery store and I got a half-gallon bucket of ice cream, and I almost finished it off last night. I got 3 enormous bowls full of ice cream, like 5 heaping scoops in each bowl, and I ate them about an hour apart from each other while I watched Boardwalk Empire. I love ice cream. I got banana split ice cream. It's got everything in there. There's like, oh, I love it. It's got big chunks of like fudge in there, and like pineapple chunks and strawberry and cherries in there, and like cherry sauce in there and strawberry sauce. And it's just, I'm just
I love ice cream.
Off.
Dating back to April when I started losing weight, I've had 1 spoonful of someone else's ice cream. That's like my total life. And it's really, this is what I do. Lately I've been sleeping in, my sleep schedule's fucked, but I don't eat anything till lunch. I'll wake up, I'll have like a lunch, maybe sometimes it's 2 hours, and it's like, if I wake up at 10, I can go to 12 and skip breakfast, right? This isn't fucking hard. So I'll eat lunch, and then I'll eat dinner, and about half the time I cheat, and I have some sort of like a bowl of almonds, and sometimes there's like trail mix mixed in, which will have like M&Ms, and that's my cheat. And that's what I eat all day. Like, there's nothing else. And I'm hovering in my weight lately, like 197, 199, not 2 anything, thankfully. But I'm like, Woody, this isn't getting you to 190.
You need a weight vest to start carrying around. See, what's happened, this is bullshit, by the way. This has not happened. What's happened is you lost about 15 or 20 pounds. So
20
now,
something, yeah.
so you've lost 20 pounds. So now you're not carrying around that 20 pounds anymore. So you're not burning as many calories. You need 20 pounds of weight vest to be carrying around everywhere so you can maintain this curve of weight loss. That's what I do with ice cream.
You just wear a weighted vest around.
I
Eat as
keep
much
a
as you
gallon of ice cream on me at all times. That's about 9.5 pounds. And
Like I'm thinking to myself, like,
oh, it's so
all right,
fucking
Woody, just everyone else who's not like constantly losing weight, they're lying about their. I'm really not. Like I've laid it all out there. I have like I don't know, a cup, a tops of almonds every cup, and it's like that's my. I don't know.
What helps me with that is I bought a food scale. So like when I was making the meals this past Sunday for like the whole week, and I didn't want to jump into it too much, so I only made 5 for like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or no, I made 6 Sunday through Friday because I know I'm not going to eat my fucking, at that point 6-day-old chicken thighs and brown rice on the weekend, but. I don't know. I'm hoping I stick to it, but I need to pick something else that's tastier next week to do because these chicken thighs are not because they're boneless and skinless.
For dinner last night, I ate a rotisserie chicken.
Now you're on the wrong mic. Oh, but you were saying like this is if the meal prep Sunday whatever thing fails, I can always just eat a rotisserie chicken every single day. Like that's not nearly as cost effective at all to just go buy a rotisserie chicken pre-cooked, but those are the best meal.
They're like $4. It's like $4 for a rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
I went to the grocery store and they had like 4 different variants. They had like lemon pepper and I don't know regular seasoning and I don't know a couple more.
I think I did.
I ate almost the entire chicken. Kitty ate whatever her serving is. Have you ever seen Kitty eat? It's like
nothing.
It's nothing. And then she made like 4 mashed potatoes worth of mashed potatoes. Her serving was like nothing. And I ate everything else. I ate like 3 potatoes and most of a chicken last night. And then I ate that ice cream.
See, the chicken is good for you. It's a high protein. It's not
all
bad.
The skin.
All those mashed potatoes are not that good for you.
I had Thai food 2 days ago, so that's a cheat. But
that's good stuff.
That same day, what we did is we went to these giant sand dunes that are like 200 feet tall, and we went paragliding. But it didn't fucking work. So all you do, they call it a sled ride. We just pretty much run down a giant sand hill and then walk back up and do that for hours. Like I'm still sore from that. Like that has to burn some of that Thai food. I don't know.
I think so. Yeah. I love Thai food. Kitty's cooking Thai food this week. I went and got all the vindaloo and tandoori spices and bullshit. So like she's really good at making like curry and stuff. I love that shit. I eat so much rice with it though. Like I do the stuff you're not supposed to do. Like I want a whole bowl of rice drenched in sauce. That white rice better be yellow by the time we're done putting the sauce on it. I don't want to see any whiteness left in there, and then just cover it with spicy chicken.
Yeah, mine had white rice too.
Good.
It just seems like Thai food once a fucking month shouldn't be like the reason I'm hovering in weight. I don't know. Yeah. Well, watch me be 196 next time I weigh in.
Like I haven't eaten anything today other than this.
I have. Pepper. I've eaten twice. Both times, what we call George Foreman chicken, just skinless, boneless chicken breast, and mixed vegetables one time and peas the other. That's all I've eaten today. It's not that bad.
That's good. No, that's not bad at all.
The only thing I've had to drink is a bunch of waters. Oh, and I think I had coffee before the show.
Yeah, I had.
I really don't drink diet soda nearly as much as I did even like 6 months ago because I used to go through it like not quite like Kyle, but a lot of diet soda, and now I've replaced it all with that LaCroix stuff. Like it, and now I like it better. Like I bought myself Diet Pepsi today, and I had like maybe 5 drinks of it. And I'm like, this. What did they change the formula? This doesn't taste like the thing that I used to love guzzling down, like by the gallon.
That bite it has from the carbonation, like if you just have
but LaCroix is carbonated
let me show
too.
you what Let me show. I want to like really rub in my unhealthiness. Let me show you the potato chips that I got.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with Kyle on that. Like I don't remember the last time I've had a soda, but like the one soda I'll have like once in a blue moon. I bet it's been since June or something. And I'll get like I'll see a Coke that made with real sugar, And I'm like, oh, that should be my cheat for the week. And look at that. That's gigantic.
I got the Fiesta pack.
You got a Costco? Yeah.
That is a lot of chips.
I ate 4 bags of these
How did you
last
get
night
fat? You were fat at one point. There was a Kyle that weighed 230.
We talked about this on the last show. It was a combination of things. It was a perfect storm of inactivity and incredibly large meals. Like I'd go to Taco Bell, get myself $25 worth of food, sit there, eat it all while playing Skyrim, sleep late into the day, and just multiple meals of bullshit. I was also into that phase where I really like to make the gigantic gourmet sandwiches that would be like 3-tiered, and I'd eat multiple of those. And Red Bull.
Funny phase to go through.
Red Bull sent me like 4 cases of Red Bull, like big cases of it for a thing I did for them, and I was just drinking that for
What'd
fun
you do
of
for
it.
Red Bull?
I pimped a video of theirs, and it really helped. I got them an extra 300,000 views or something like that. And so I was drinking all that Red Bull, just tons of sugar, and Pepsi just had come out with real sugar Pepsi, and I loved it so much that I bought like 8 cases of that. And just, you know how like you go on Cribs, you go to someone's house and their fridge is stocked in a way that like it probably normally isn't, with like sodas, and they got like 8 Coca-Colas perfectly over there, and 4 Sprite. Yeah, I'd like to have all the
labels
drinks for the
facing.
bitches.
Yeah.
I did that with like all these Pepsis and Red Bulls and stuff. And that was when I first discovered Ben & Jerry's Red Velvet ice cream. And so like Kitty likes to like get the things that I like and like be on top of things like something she enjoys. So multiple pints of that. Like it was a perfect storm of unhealthiness that, I'm just more active now. I jog. I eat 1 or 2 meals a day, not 4 or 5. And I don't go to Taco Bell anymore.
I eat 2 meals a day, and every so often I'll have a breakfast too, but I don't know.
My breakfast is I went ahead and got a new toaster because I've been eating so much toast with butter jam. Oh, that butter jam! Oh, it's so good. It's Wilkin and Sons Red Scarlet Strawberry Jelly. It's these very tiny strawberries, like smaller than a grape, and they used to exist here in North America, but now they're extinct. And the Wilkinson family imported them to England, and now it's the only place where they exist. There are 50 of them in every small jar, and they're extra flavorful and sweet.
You don't buy that, right?
Everything I'm saying is true. Yeah, I do buy it.
Okay.
I absolutely do. I buy it in bulk. There are so many jars of it.
Because there are so many things they can afford to sell it to lots of people in bulk because there's no shortage.
He was
they're
saying
the
you
only
don't
ones who
believe
have
that.
it.
Is what he meant
Oh.
by that.
No, it's true. They're called Little Scarlet Strawberries. Do some Google searching on this. This is all factual. Little Scarlet Strawberries.
It's on the
I'm not
internet,
making shit.
Taylor.
It's
I should have
true.
listened.
tiny, flavorful, and extra sweet strawberries. I have their strawberry jam, not as good as the Red Scarlet Strawberry Jam. I also have the Morello Cherry Jam from them. Not
Look at
as
this.
good.
This is hilarious. Little Scarlet is, according to Wilkin and Sons Limited, a strawberry.
Of course, it's a strawberry.
It says the tiny berry is approximately 1/5 the size of a strawberry of today, similar in size to the alpine or wood strawberry. The plant was brought to Britain in the 1900s by Wilkin, and this is a very short Wikipedia I'm scouring through to see.
It is a fucking strawberry. What did you expect? Like a bibliography?
Well, I mean, if I looked up any other plant, like there's going to be pages of the different kinds.
Bullshit.
It was just funny the way
This
they phrased
is the
it. Like,
different kind. This is
Okay.
a very fancy variety of strawberry that's extra sweet and
these are
delicious.
expensive.
They are expensive.
Okay, I trust you.
They're absolutely delicious. And what I do is I take a tablespoon of butter, about 3 tablespoons of strawberry jam, put it in a bowl, microwave it for 30 seconds, stir it all together, and I smear that on my toast. I have 4 pieces of toast and 2 large cups of coffee for breakfast.
Jesus. Next time we actually are together, I'm going to be my fitness paling everything you eat.
I've been doing it. It's awful. Like with my Wendy's meals, like I've been showing you guys the receipts. Like I get 2 combos from Wendy's. You know, the drinks alone are like 700 calories of just root beer.
Keep track between now and PKA. Not on everything you order, like just on the stuff that you enter in.
Yeah,
like-
I did that. It fluctuates between like 2,400 and 3,800 calories a day.
Okay.
It's an ungodly amount of
It's not too bad
bullshit.
at all.
Yeah, and some days I sleep really late.
Yeah. You guys on the call show?
Yeah. I wonder what I weigh. I might weigh in tomorrow. All right, PKN episode 169.